Hello and thanks for checking out TheChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hello, Canadian MJ friends. So not a good day out there in the sector. In fact, it was probably one of the more bearish days and bearish scenarios that we could have seen. We could tell very early on the correlation today did not favor the bulls. In the first half hour of trading, CGC was all bear and SPY was all bull. So that little observation alone can lead us to say, which I did say live first thing, the correlation to the S&P 500 favors the Canadian MJ bears. There are times, hasn't happened recently, but we see the bulls favored, and that can change our game plan in terms of what we're looking at. But as soon as we rejected on CGC from key resistance, which is the high of Friday, 34.85, we opened, we could not break that level, and it was profit taking for the entirety of the rest of the day. This absolutely looked like program selling to me. I don't have a doubt that it was institutions bailing and selling significant positions or something along those lines. Again, that's speculation to a certain degree. But when I look at the 4 and the 8 period exponential moving average, which is what I use to trade stocks, and you see a just straight drop like this with no bounces. I mean, we traded sideways a little bit, but just right off a cliff, especially trading counter to what SPY is doing, that stands out to me very clearly that there are big time bears, whether it's, people establishing short positions, the sector is very heavily shorted right now, or whether it's institutions leaving long positions, whatever it was, this looked programmed and done by bots, in my opinion. That being said, you can then look at a very clear trend and say, all right, we have a 2-minute downtrend for the last few hours. We're extremely oversold on the 5-minute time frame. A change in the 2-minute trend, I'm going to look for just a 5-minute oversold bounce. So we changed the trend right here with a little higher low and a higher high. The bull break was 31.63, and we went up to 32.05 just 20 minutes after that. So there was a flip for the bulls on that 2-minute trend change, and there were no fake outs on the 2-minute time frame as far as trend changes previously for the last few hours. So that's why that signal becomes more trustworthy, because if we had seen 2-minute, fake outs and then drops to lower lows, then I'm not going to act on that. But the fact that it was just a clear downtrend for hours on the 2-minute time frame, changing that trend is more noteworthy in that scenario. So bottom line, longer term, where do we stand? It's not looking good. We had a scenario where some names broke bullish, and I shouldn't say some names. TLRY was the only one that broke bullish on the daily time frame. Sector leader did not follow. You always need to see the sector leader follow along in order to have confidence. It's almost like TLRY broke through a fence and was running ahead, and it turns around and it sees everybody else running in the opposite direction. And TLRY only down 1.6% today, where most other names are down 6 to 8%. So clearly held up, but the sector is weak. And the weekly time frame, we are looking down. A lot of names are looking down at their levels from July and August. And on CGC, we had a close at the low of the day, and we're seeing right now after hours, a gap down open is setting up. So support is 30.26. After 30.26, the next support level, 30.20. So we'll just call it 30.20. After 30.20, it's 29.05, and then a gap at 26.37. We can fill those. And the reason that we can be more bearish now at this point, as if we needed more, convincing. The daily chart is just lower highs and lower lows, a new lower high at the high of Friday, but it's a red Marabozu, meaning the bears controlled the entirety of the day. SPY was up 1.6% today and is seeing weakness after hours after Trump's talking about China tariffs and things like that. Apple's dumping after hours due to a court case. Bottom line is, if SPY sees any kind of weakness, it's only going to magnify this sector's weakness, in my opinion. Hourly RSI levels are close to oversold, but not to the point where I'm going to be looking for any kind of entry in the near term, unless if we were to dump straight down to 30.20 and the bulls can hold that initially, I'd look to potentially play that oversold bounce. But if we break $30, we're going to be waiting patiently for the hourly RSI to get to 25 or below, down to the 20 level. So I'm in no rush to buy oversold bounces at this point. There'll be another oversold bounce on the way down, but at this point, it's just a lot of bearish action. Anything on the daily time frame under 34.85 is just a lower high. And again, you can play bearish. I know it might not be comfortable for a lot of people, but if you learn to play bearish, The open first thing this morning is a clear top fishing play on a lot of these names. And top fishing is the exact opposite of bottom fishing. You have a clear resistance level. The bulls are unable to break that resistance level. You enter a bearish position and you exit if that resistance level does break. It's very low risk. So as soon as SPY opened and started pulling back, we could make a bearish entry, put a stop at 34.85, and obviously you would have stayed in the trade the entirety of today. And Cron had another one where we opened, couldn't break 908 key resistance, rejected by 4 pennies, and then saw weakness the entire rest of the day. And we ended up pulling back about 5-6% from that point. So you enter bearish, you put a stop loss above 908, and you stop out if that level breaks. I didn't play the sector bearish today. I didn't play the sector today. I played oil, but I'm going to be watching at this point for oversold bounces, being very picky. If I don't get the hourly oversold bounce, I'm not worried about it because it's likely to just set a daily lower high on the initial bounce attempt. So gap downs are more likely than not with where we currently stand right now, and key support levels are going to be tested tomorrow. CGC, $30, key level to watch. Cron, still a nice equilibrium. So we formed a lower high. The lower high, higher low, lower high today, almost a double top, 4 pennies. Bulls must hold 770 support to stay in this tightening range. And we're going to look for a break of this range at some point this week. So it's a potential bottom fishing play with 770, as right now it would be about a 6 to 7% drop, 7% drop in order to head to that support level. And we're already down 5% today. It's possible we break that support tomorrow, but it's also possible to watch for that as a bottom fishing play to look for a higher low on the daily and to stay in this tightening range. TLRY, we got the bull break, but no follow through. We did see a gap up open, but no follow through after that because of the sector weakness. USMJ was weak as well. KSHB just released earnings, haven't gone over them yet. We'll have to see how the market reacts. Tons of USMJ earnings this week, but at this point, everybody is looking weak in the MJ sector. So anything on TLRY above 99 will maintain a daily higher low. So bulls have a lot of space to work with. They can pull back 15% and still not lose the daily higher low pattern. So that's why Cron and TLRY are positioned so much better, because they still have daily higher lows where nobody else does. CGC is about to test support, which was a lower low, and ACB as well. So ACB, daily lower high is 846. Anything under that's just another lower high. Close at the low of the day, 744 support, going to be tested first thing tomorrow, 725 after that. Weekly time frame after 725, we're looking down at that August level of 529. And I'll give a little broader perspective of best case scenario for bullish entries for those that have cash in this sector right now. But let's just wrap it up first with these last 2 names. So ACB all bear, Red Marabozu, close at the low. And again, same thing as everybody else. Hourly RSI is oversold, but if we break 725, there's a lack of support. We'll watch 7 psychological. Hourly RSI, I'm not going to get interested, again, like I said, until the low 20s. That's me being picky and waiting for the trade to come to me. If we bounce from RSI upper 20s, I'll miss it, and I'll have no problem doing so. APHA, lead bear. How long has that been the case? Answer is a long time. Resistance is 1238, and we drop down to lower lows. The weekly support is non-existent until that August level of 862. And at this point, we've pulled back from the all-time high almost 50%. Very significant pullback. Actually, we have pulled back 50%. So we're not going to get that all-time high this year. And we are going to look for a potential good. So this is the long-term scenario that I'm looking at. I'm looking at SPY on the weekly time frame, and I'm seeing the bulls hold support for now. Worst case scenario is SPY rolls over and breaks the October low, and that's going to only put more downward pressure on the sector, and it's going to make things get really ugly. But again, if you're sitting cash, you want that to happen. You want this sector to get as overextended and as much bloodshed to the downside to get longer term entries, knowing that we will see a recovery. So me being all cash, I guess I don't want people to go broke and have hardships financially, but I wouldn't be too upset if we drop down to lower lows. That being said, best case scenario for the bulls, hold the October low on SPY, bounce, set a lower high, tightening equilibrium on the weekly time frame into the end of the year, bull break, and at that point in time, if we see these entries on Canadian MJ with their lows down from August, we would look for a higher low. Let's look at it on the monthly time frame for just a different perspective, but it would be an equilibrium that we're looking for. If we can hold that level, which is more likely than not of 862, we would then look for our bounce, our higher low to be established, and then we look for a bounce and a lower high to be set, and a tightening monthly range into 2019. So if SPY were to break bullish, that would only be some added momentum. Of course, we can have days like today where it doesn't matter what SPY is doing, but in general, a SPY bull break would have us looking for monthly higher lows. Let's just go through the list and see how these monthly charts look. So we're still looking for a higher low on CGC, and then we'll look for a monthly bounce and a lower high. So again, anticipating the potential of significant upside once our monthly higher low is formed, and anything above 24.21 gives us that higher low. We just looked at APHA, ACB. We're looking for a higher low compared to 405. Still a bunch of space before we get to that level. Cron has the most space to work with. We're looking for a monthly higher low compared to 561. Still well above that support level. And last we got TLRY, just monthly inside bars due to the lack of trading history. So overall, longer term entries, I'm starting to pay attention, but if SPY rolls over and breaks the October lows, I'm going to be a lot less inclined to be establishing long-term positions in Canadian MJ. If the SPY weekly chart tightens up, I will be looking for these monthly higher lows to form. APHA, CGC, and those names watching their October lows, there is going to be an entry opportunity, in my opinion, once this bloodshed does come to an end, which it will, but it's going to get extreme. If it isn't already extreme enough, we could see another leg down this week. So that's where we stand. And now I'm going to be paying attention to the USMJ earnings and how the market reacts to those as well. But right now, SPY had the most upside today that we've seen in the last 4 days. We've had very weak closes, not today, but after hours, it's being erased a bit. So the headwinds are still in the face of the bulls. The bears are still comfortable in the market overall, and especially in the Canadian MJ sector. We know that we're going to have to see shorts covering, big time shorts in this sector, but I'm in no rush to try and catch the bottom. There's no need to catch the falling knife. If you want to be a patient bull, you're waiting for a daily trend change at the least. And there's no daily trend change in sight with our lower high being set at 34.85. So we'll see what tomorrow brings, and we'll see if supports can hold. Couple key support tests coming tomorrow with CGC at the top of my watch list of 30.26 key level. I appreciate you watching. Hope you're having a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Do some good things. That's all we got.